Will I ever lock in and be consistent? Alright, what's up? It's Buddy Cake MMA, and UFC 319 is coming up, and it's a very big deal because it's Dricus versus Hamzat. We've been waiting for this. Today, I am going to go through this entire card, start to finish, and give you my predictions. We're just gonna kind of quickly go over them, and yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, opening up the early prelims, we have Karine Silva versus Dion Barbosa. Karine Silva was supposed to fight JJ Aldrich, and I think Karine Silva is going to beat Dion Barbosa. Don't know much about her. I know Karine Silva is like fine, like as in a decent fighter, not like hot. Dion Barbosa, the witch. Love that for her. Alright, 8-3. I think Karine Silva is going to win. It's going to be a decision because it's women's MMA. Anyways, not what we're here for. Moving on. Bryan Battle versus Nursultan Ruzaboyev on the early prelims. Don't know how they stuck Bryan Battle on the early prelims. He's winning fights. Crazy. I actually really like Bryan Battle. I think he's crazy, and I've always enjoyed him, but yeah, he's kind of crashing out lately. This is a tough matchup because Nursultan Ruzaboyev is a big boy. Nurbigum. That almost sounds like a bad word, actually, so let me just not say that. 6'5", 185. He's pulling like a me right now. Just, he doesn't eat. Whatever, Bryan Battle. I'm picking Bryan Battle. I don't think Ruzaboyev's going to get this one done. I know he's scary. He's pretty well-rounded. He's got some KO power, but I think Bryan Battle's just way too crafty. I think he's very good. I think Bryan Battle's a really good fighter. He had a competitive fight with Randy Brown, who I think would beat Nursultan Ruzaboyev. Although it was close and debatably a robbery, Bryan Battle got the win, and I think he's going to get this one done against Ruzaboyev. Probably a decision again, honestly, but I think it's going to be a pretty cool fight. Crazy that's on the early prelims. Same with this. Edson Barboza versus Dricus Close. This is probably going to be a banger. My heart wants to pick Edson Barboza, but he is almost like, he's like months away from death at this point. He's getting up there, you know, he's like 40. 24-12. Dricus Close is 15-3, and he's got some power. They both are coming off losses, which is crazy, but I think Dricus Close is just going to get this one done. He's a little bit younger. Let's see, what are the age difference here? I thought Dricus Close was like 29. No, I thought he was like 33 or something. Anyways, Dricus Close is probably going to knock him out. Maybe? This is a tough one. I'm going Dricus Close. I do think he's better at this point in their careers. But I could see Edson Barboza winning. You know what? I'm picking Edson Barboza to get a TKO in round 3. Yeah. I thought Dricus Close was like 33. I'm not even kidding. Okay. Prelims. Banger right here. Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. I actually think Chase Hooper's really good. I know people are starting to come around to that, but I love Chase Hooper, okay? Alexander Hernandez, I hate this fool. I cannot even look at this fool's face. He's not a good fighter either. Like, debatably, if I started training, I think I could, like, get in there, probably get at least a round off of him, but he would still kill me. I'm picking Chase Hooper to easily win this fight. Like, I don't think he'll even lose a round. I think his grappling's way too good. He makes, like, Jim Miller look like an idiot on the ground. It was crazy. I know Jim Miller's old, but, like, who's doing that? Who does that to Jim Miller? So, I need to get a bald cap and do some Joe Rogan impressions. I think Chase Hooper is going to get this one done pretty easily. I'm going to say first or second round submission, rear naked choke, because Alexander Hernandez is a bum. Moving on. Jessica Andrade versus Lupi Godinez. This is actually a tough one. How old's Lupi? It's a crazy name. Crazy name. Okay, she's only 31. Insane that Andrade is only 33. I'm gonna pick Andrade. She's coming off some losses. She hasn't looked very good lately, but I don't think Lupi is all that impressive. I'm gonna pick Andrade to get a decision. Probably a boring fight. Probably gonna take her down a few times, hit her with some manly shots. Jessica Andrade, and I think she's gonna get it done. I do. I don't know. She's pretty good. Lupi's all right. She's coming up in the rankings here, but I think this is gonna be a bounce back for Andrade. Honestly, she's not old yet. Like, it's fine. This one's super interesting. Gerald Mearshart, GM3, taking on Mikhail Olasejczyk. Both some crafty vets here. I'm picking Mikhail Olasejczyk. He's training with, like, the fighting nerds now, and they're just kind of insane. They just be winning. I know Protez lost, but he fought Ian Gary, who's, like, good, very good, and it was short notice. I don't know. I think Olasejczyk is just a little bit better. I think he's going to catch Mearshart. He's probably going to TKO him in the second or third round. That would be my guess. Don't let it get to the third round, because then put some live money, live odds on some GM3 if it's the third round. But I think Olasejchik will either TKO him in the second round or get a decision win 2-1. That's my prediction. I think he's looked better, you know? He's also a pretty good fighter. He just hasn't fought very well in his career, if that makes sense. Moving on, Bobby Green, not calling him that, versus Diego Ferreira. At this point, I think Diego Ferreira is going to slime this boy out. I think he's going to KO Bobby Green. I like Bobby Green a lot. I also like Diego Ferreira a lot. Ferreira, last time he fought, was that against Grant Dawson? Was that his last fight? Has it been that long? Possibly. I think Ferreira, this is going to be a banger while it goes on. Bobby Green's going to emote like, oh, come on, and he's going to get slimed out cold by like a 1-2. First or second round KO for Diego Ferreira is my prediction. He hits very hard. But I could see Bobby Green doing all right. He doesn't KO a lot of people, so I'm picking Ferreira. Moving on to the main card, Tim Elliott. Yes, Tim Elliott still ranked. I don't think he's fought since 2004. He's taking on Kai Asakura, who, of course, got signed and immediately thrown into a title shot against Alexander Pantoja. He lost that fight, but he looked pretty crazy in that fight, and I think it's going to be too much for Tim Elliott to keep up with. I think Kai Asakura is going to just starch him out cold here. Probably a first or second round KO for Kai Asakura. But Tim Elliott's a crafty vet. You know, he could stay in there, get a decision. He could, I think he's going to lose this fight, but it could go to decision. I think Asakura is just good. I really do think he's a good fighter. And he's going to give a lot of flyweights problems. If he loses this, cut him from the promotion. Anyways. Oof. Okay, this one's interesting. Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page. Now, I know a lot of hardcore fans here, including, like, myself. I'll throw myself in this category. I don't think I'm, like, as hardcore as you can get, right? But Jared Cannonier low-key got a chance in this fight. I think he could use the grappling, but he is always striking in his fights. He's not a grappler. He only strikes. You watch Jared Cannonier, if you know anything, all of his fights are stand-up fights. To be fair, it's because he's fighting guys like Paulo Costa, Gregory Rodriguez. Like, they also want to stand up and strike with him. I think MVP's way too quick. I don't think you can beat him unless you take him down, and I don't think Cannonier is that great of a grappler to just be able to take him down over and over. I think MVP up at middleweight is also just a better move because he's going to be so much quicker than these fools. I'm picking MVP. I think it'll be a decision because MVP is very low output, but I think the few things he does is going to be enough to win that fight because he's going to drop Cannonier with one of those crazy blitzes that he does because they're so unexpected, they're so quick, and they're powerful. So I'm picking MVP to get a 29-28, I'll say 30-27 decision. This is actually a banger fight, and I really like Cannonier. I think he's very underrated, but I think MVP's like the real deal, so I'm going MVP. Moving on. Oof. Our boys, Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. You know, some CP. Jeff Neal's good. He is also very underrated. Gets a lot of KOs, is in a lot of wars. This fight's going to be a banger. Carlos Prates is going to win. He's going to knock him out. Jeff Neal has good chin, but I think Prates knocks him out in the second round. Maybe the first. Prates is very good. He hits very hard. He lost to Ian Gary in his last fight. It happens. Ian Gary's the real deal as well. You know, he might sit in a corner sometimes, but he's a good fighter. I think Carlos Prates gets this one done. It's probably going to be a KO, but I could see it going to decision and it being kind of a war. If this fight's boring, I'm going to ask for a refund on the pay-per-view that I'm totally purchasing. Then, co-main event. I can't believe there's co-main event. I can't believe they have all these fights on the card. I'd rather see Brian Battle in the co-main event than this. Like, how is the MVP fight not ahead of this? You know what I mean? Lerone Murphy, the 34-year-old prospect, 16-0, taking on Aaron Pico, who's like 14-6 or something in Bellator, and everyone's talking about how great he is, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I haven't done a ton of research, but I've watched a few clips of Aaron Pico. I get he's cool. Lerone Murphy's gonna win. None of these Bellator guys come over and do well. Lerone Murphy's beating actual talent in the UFC. He's 16-0. That's not easy to do. I think Lerone Murphy's gonna get a very boring decision win here. I don't even really want to talk about it anymore. Alright, it's gonna be a boring fight. If Pico wins, that'd be awesome. I want him to win, but Lerone Murphy's gonna win, and then he's gonna try to get a title shot. Anyways, here we go. I haven't even... Dricus versus Hamzat. I've been so back and forth for 3.5 years on this. So Dricus is really great. Really great. his form is insane, all right? He's got some crazy technique here, but it works, and he is very good. And I know people think he looks sloppy because he kind of does, but it works for him at middleweight. Middleweights are kind of idiots. He has great grappling, great submissions, great wrestling, great striking. He hits hard. His combos are great. His blitzes are great. Hamzat, as my camera cut out. Okay, as I was saying, Dricus is very well-rounded, and he's a very good fighter, and Hamzat, although kind of sloppy on the feet, he's pretty solid, you know? He can contend up there on the feet. He stands a chance with these guys. But it's his grappling. And everyone's saying if it goes past the first round, he's cooked. And that he's just going to submit Dricus in the first. I think he will absolutely ragdoll Dricus at moments in this fight. I think he will definitely get a takedown in the first round. I think he will threaten with submissions. I think he'll have people excited that he's going to win. And I don't think he's going to run out of energy as much as we think he's going to. I feel like second, third round might roll around and you'll be like, Hamzat looks fine. Like, he's not that tired. He has to go for it the same way he goes for it in every fight. Otherwise, he's going to lose. It's so hard to pick against Hamzat just because we've never even seen him, like, struggle. I mean, Gilbert Burns' fight was a little bit tough. Usman fight was tough. I'm picking Dricus. I think Dricus is going to starch this man in the 4th or 5th round. I think it's going to be really competitive. I think it's going to be first round to Hamzat. 2nd and 3rd are pretty close. 4th, Dricus turns it on. Maybe late 4th round, early 5th round KO for Dricus. I think Dricus is going to do it. I don't know. I did see their face-to-face thing, and they ran into each other during fight week, and Dricus looked tiny. But Hamzat's shorts turned brown. You know what I mean? So I think Dricus is going to win. I think Dricus is really... He has, like, what is it? Plot armor. He has plot armor. Dricus Duplessis plot armor. And we're going to see Dricus versus either Reiner de Ritter or Anthony Hernandez by the end of his title reign, which is going to be insane. I'm picking Dricus. And it's also better for the sport. Well, pay-per-view sales, it's probably better for Hamzat. But I think Dricus is better. Oh, we're not even going to need pay-per-view sales. We're going to Paramount, buddy. All right. We're good. Dricus is going to win. And, better for the sport. He's more active. He's more fun, I feel like. And we can see Hamzat fight like Paulo Costa, which would sell. I don't know. I think I could really see Hamzat winning this, but I'm going with Dricus. I believe. That's my prediction video. I'll try to be better about posting. Real talk. I want to be better about posting. I suck at this. Just a lot going on, but that's no excuse. I gotta be on the grind. I want to make more content. Predictions, breakdowns, all that. Fights to make. All of that. So, let's lock in. Start now. We'll see how that goes. Peace.